All right, joining me now, fresh from conceding in the Senate race, is now outgoing Senator Jim Molan, who's in Canberra. Jim, it's the end of an era. You know, you've conceded just a few hours ago. What are your thoughts right now?
Well, my thoughts are two, Peter. The first thought is that regardless of what happens to me, the coalition government got back in. I didn't predict that. 99% of people predicted. I felt there for a long time I was out of step of a right of centre Australia, and it was great to find out that I was not. That right of centre Australia still has the values that I have, and the Morrison government is back in. The second point that I think about a fair bit is the people who backed me in my below the line campaign. That's 135,000 people. Roughly 135,000 people voted for me, even though I was in an unwinnable position. Quite significant. It's an enormous number. People tell me it's the largest personal vote of any politician in history. What I've got to figure out is how to take that forward, because I now have an obligation to these people. They have put their faith in me. They've voted for me. And I have an obligation to them, and how I carry that forward is going to be very, very interesting.
Jim, why was the strategy to go below the line? I mean, you know, it created quite a bit of controversy, but it was a clear and conscious decision by you and your team.
Yes, it was, and essentially it came from the fact that I believe that if you're in a team, you play with the team. And in 2007, I ran for pre-selection in what is generally considered to be the most abused Senate pre-selection the Liberal Party in New South Wales has ever conducted, and that amount of dirty washing we will go through in private. And after that, I was, in inverted commas, the good boy. I kept my mouth shut. I operated and did nothing but tried to get the Turnbull government elected, and I kept my mouth shut and I worked to change the Constitution. The second time this was done to me, I thought I cannot just keep my mouth shut again. Many of my colleagues who don't come from New South Wales don't understand that very, very important point. I am a good team player, Peter. I've been playing in teams all of my life, and I played in the Liberal Party team religiously after the 2016 election. So I believe that I had to offer the people of New South Wales the option of voting for a Liberal from a Conservative base on the ticket, because they did not have that option. And guess what? A vast, vast number of people voted for me, and I thank them very, very much.
Jim, the Australian Strategic Policy Institute have said that Australia must enter into a formal defence alliance with Japan. Do you agree with them?
Totally. I think the role of diplomacy and alliances is absolutely key. We are facing a strategic environment which we have not faced since the end of the Second World War. We are in a more uncertain situation, and you're talking tonight about controversial activities going on in Hong Kong. We see across the world the rise of four nations and an ideology, as the Americans call it, and we must guarantee our security. But the point I'd make, Peter, is that alliances are not an excuse for us not to do something for ourselves. Ultimately, we must rely on ourselves for our own. Now, the coalition government has done wonders compared to everything else, to previous governments. We're in the middle of the largest rearmament program in peacetime in Australian history, but it's not intimately linked to the strategic environment. It's a great improvement, but the world has changed and changed and changed. We must link ourselves in with our allies. Indonesia is another great ally we must link ourselves in, and we do very well there. I'm all for that alliance.
Jim, thanks for joining us tonight. Congratulations on a wonderful career, and we look forward to the next chapter, that's for sure.
Thanks, Peter. I'm still trying to define what the next chapter will be.